My name is Mark Whitby from RecruiterTrainingOnline.com. This is my friend Neil Leibovitz. And Neil, if you know Neil, you know he knows a lot about a lot of things. One of the things that he knows especially a lot about is LinkedIn. So when I have a question about LinkedIn, then Neil's the person that I ask. So Neil, what I'm really curious about today is there's a lot of buzz on the web and people talking about the changes that are being rolled out on LinkedIn, and I wanted to find out what's your take on that and what does that mean for us recruiters?
Well, LinkedIn is constantly changing their programs. One of the biggest changes they made in the past year was their actual search engine. They used in the past what was called the Lucene search engine. A lot of people didn't know about it. It did some amazing things behind the scenes, but people know that the interface changed, but they lost the ability to, for example, sort searches. And so they have this new box, and they have rolled out what's called the Voltron search engine. That's the machine behind LinkedIn. And it's super impressive, and it does amazing things. And people do need to both use LinkedIn and, some people are probably familiar, Mark, with the term Google X-ray, which is what a lot of trainers say, look, you don't need LinkedIn. I'm going to teach you how to get into LinkedIn using Google. And that's with X-ray search, which is awesome. But you don't want to make that mistake with the new Voltron engine. You want to do both, but you really want to master Voltron and really understand, right, what all those different search boxes are. And you'll see a lot of duplication or apparent duplication. Right. For example, there's a company field on the right side of advanced search, there's one on the left. What's the difference? Right? And there's a big difference between how you really want to use them to source candidates. So sourcing now, you can really get amazing, even if you have a free account, at really pinpointing and getting the best people. But you need to really get good at it, and you got to master the tool, because recruiters, third-party HR, whatever you are, that's your job to recruit, and they need to get good at that.
All right, awesome. So does everyone have Voltron now? Is it already?
Voltron is now rolled out to everybody, including RPS,
Okay.
which is the Recruiter Professional, Recruiter Pro, or Corporate Recruiter on the HR side.
Okay, so whether you have one of the premium accounts or whether you have a free account, you need to know how to use this. What's the cost of kind of just, I'll make do, I'll get by, I don't really need to know the ins and outs, I can kind of muddle through it?
Really, you can get by with a free account, but the problem with a free account is they're constantly changing and taking away things. They want you to be a paid member, and they constantly change the plan. So get the cheapest upgrade plan available. Now, depending upon where you were, you'll see an upgrade tab on your settings on the right side of your main profile, and that'll show you the plans available to you. For example, I have very different upgrade options than other people have. But you get the cheapest plan. You're looking at roughly, now, if you've never had anything, you're looking at roughly $70 a month, somewhere around there. But you do want to upgrade because they grandfather you in almost always for things that they take away. For example, I've been a Business Pro member, which they don't offer that plan anymore, but they grandfathered me into that plan. Not only that, but I'm able to still see people outside of my network, their names and all of that. Which, by the way, with Voltron and using Google, there's great ways that you'll always be able to find people, even if they're out of your network and you only have a picture and some basic company information, or if they set their profile to private. But so upgrade, just get the minimum one. You definitely do not want to start with Recruiter or any of the high-end ones. And you can do a personal upgrade. You don't have to go for a recruiter-specific plan.
So Neil, you're saying that if I have a free account, which I do right now, then I won't be able to take full advantage of Voltron, or my ability to source candidates on LinkedIn is going to be seriously compromised?
Well, what I'm going to share on the webinar, you'll actually get to see what you get. On any of the premium accounts, you get extra filters. It's called faceted filtering, which I'll really explain what that means because people aren't really using it the right way. And there's real pros and cons to it. It's amazing for narrowing down and getting to really specific people, and that's really worth the price of admission. There's a tool that I'm going to share that's called Reference Search that's only available to premium members. That's worth the price of admission. I have people that have made tons of placements and have clearly paid for LinkedIn, so for probably 20 years worth of LinkedIn on it, which allows you to make cold calls that aren't cold anymore by searching under anyone you're trying to reach, finding at a particular time, let's say they worked at their old company, and finding people that were connected to them from there. Or, you can do a reference search based on an individual. I could pull you up, pull up a company you worked at for years. So that's a great tool for the premium members. The other downside if you're not premium is you get limited search reviews. Depending on your plan, be 50 or 100. Now, while that's not bad, it's much better to get 300, and you could start filtering those out. Now, someone might say, and some trainers will say, 300 is too much anyway. And if you get 1,000 views, meaning in your search results, 1,000 people pop up, that's a ridiculous amount. You're not going to go through 1,000. And some might say, well, that's okay, because you really want to learn how to get good at narrowing it down anyway. But what you'll see with Voltron and the faceted search, it provides you some great intel secrets that are kind of built in there if you just know easily and just think smart how to untap them. So for a lot of reasons, it's not the 100 results that's the biggest thing. In-mails are great for sourcing. They're not great for reaching clients or whatever, but they're great for sourcing, and I do give tips on that also. But you definitely want to upgrade. Not to mention the customer service. They will get back to you within a day. If you have a free account, could take a week. So upgrade.
All right. So you're obviously keen on upgrading to the at least the lowest cost premium account. Definitely recruiters need to get up to speed on Voltron, so that's awesome. By the way, Neil and I are doing a webinar on this stuff in the very near future, so keep an eye out for announcements about that because we'll be able to go into detail and take a deep dive on the things that Neil's touching on just now. So what else do recruiters need to be aware of in relation to the way LinkedIn is changing, Neil? And is there anything in particular that could either cost us or make us money that is going to be a compelling reason why I should be bothered finding out about this stuff?
Well, yeah, and I don't want to be self-serving and give away all of the secret sauce. As you know, I have a major mastery program at thebestlinkedintraining.com. But one of the things that I talk about both in the profile section and in my full sourcing training there is that they have a very special algorithm and the way that they rank you. Right, so you as a recruiter, if you want to show up at the top of someone's search results or on the first page or two, not, number 899 or number 499, they look at lots of different things. So it's not just the keywords, although keywords are critical, and mastering those throughout your profile. And I'm going to say this, profile completeness is a major factor of what they use. Sure, they look at your connection level. Most people see, typically, but not always for the reasons that I'm going into, first levels will come first and second level connections. But they look at profile completion in very key areas on a profile, such as your headline, such as your job title, 3 or more jobs. And the keywords also, depending upon where you put them on your profile, and variations of those keywords are going to be very key for you showing up fast. On the same note, when you're searching and sourcing for people, your first results aren't going to be your best results. It's not like Google, where they're going to use this relevancy algorithm that is frankly where Google started and became so famous, where, yes, you put in all these keywords in a major long string, even if you're not great at it, but you create this string, Google's going to give you the most relevant hits. LinkedIn, you've got to play with Voltron, know how to use it and how it's different, understand the mechanism behind it, and on the same note, use that so you can get the people you want to show up towards the top or filter out the right way so that you get the best people. And also get much better at keyword variations and things of that nature.
All right, awesome. I'm psyched for this, Neil. So it sounds like people are going to be able to do the searches more effectively, faster, be able to pinpoint the candidates that they're going to be able to place much more quickly. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
All right, good stuff. Well, I'm psyched to be there. Sign me up. And Neil, pleasure as always chatting with you. I'm really looking forward to working with you properly again on this webinar. And thanks everyone for tuning in.
And lovely beard. I'm digging it.
And you as well.
Yeah, this will be growing in. I'm just starting in case anyone's judging.
All right. Thanks a lot, Neil. See you soon.
Take care, Mark. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.